guys, hi, how's it going? How y'all doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today, I'm sadly doing the deck of panning finale for 2024 in hopes that we will be doing this again come January 2025. So I like to finalize my deck of panning by going through the products that were last on my list to utilize, and then showcasing for you like just some stats for this project slash game. And I hope that sounds like something you're interested in. And if it is, please keep on watching. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna, lover of all things high and colorful beauty and self-care. And ultimately, this is my self-care. I enjoy coming out here, talking to you about the good, the bad, the ugly of all things beauty coming in and out of my collection. And I hope that you're here for it. If you are, I hope that you subscribe before you go. I would love to have you along for this crazy ride of mine. And with that said, let's roll into this deck of panning finale. All right, so really exciting update last month. We ended up doing a complete refresh for all the products that we had in this project. And with that said, I only pulled 5 items. And I think at the time I had 6 in because I had a extra item for some reason. I can't remember why exactly. So going through the items that we rolled in last month, we had the King of Spades, which was Has a Pan. And for Has a Pan, I brought in the Winky Lux single shadow in Purr, and it did have a pan in it. And my goal was to use it 5 times, which I did. And hopefully I have a picture of where we were last month, and we will be able to see like some differentiation in how big the pan is this month. But I mean, truly, I only used it 5 times. I used a little tiny brush, went in, put it into my inner corner, and that is how I used this shade. It's a really beautiful, like frosty pink shade, and really makes for a really beautiful inner corner, specifically with like this kind of eye look. I will say it's not on my inner corner today, but another one of the shades in this is. So I did hit my goal on this shade, and it will go back into my single shadow collection. The second one was the Ten of Spades, which last month was Graveyard. And for Graveyard, you're supposed to bring in a product that you're supposed to pick, like something that has been in a project before. And my Winky Lux Kitten palette had been in multiple projects before. And so I brought in another one of the shades that I pulled from that palette when I decluttered it and decided ultimately I didn't need it in my collection anymore. I did save 3 shades, and this is one of them. So this is the shade Duchess, and this is what I brought in for Graveyard, or the Ten of Spades. This I did have a goal to use 5 times as well. I did use this 5 times. I had this one used way before I had this one used. And this one is what is on my inner corners today. It made a really great inner corner shadow. It made a really great brow bone shadow. It is a matte, like creamy, leans kind of pink kind of shade, but it is really, really creamy, really, really milky, like peachy pinky shade that worked really well as an inner corner, a brow bone, but also worked really well as like just a setting down on your lid shade, right? So it was really great for any of the shadows that I brought in to layer over the top of. It was a really good, like if I was using a different kind of primer, a creamy primer, it didn't really need a creamy primer to set down my primer. So I had that one used way before I had Purr used, but that one I also hit a goal on. The next one was brought in for the 5 of Spades, and the 5 of Spades was eyeshadow, and there were 3 pans of eyeshadow that I pulled from that Winky Lux Kitten palette, so I thought, why not make it a clean sweep and bring the 3rd pan from that Winky Lux Kitten palette back into this. And this is the shade here, and it is in the shade Holographic. I don't think that you're going to see much difference in the shadow here or the pan, but I did have a goal to reach for it 5 times. I did use it 5 times. I do think that it is a beautiful shadow. Again, kind of pinky base, has kind of a blue icy pink flip to it. It looked really good on a lid space with this as the inner corner as well. So I got my 5 uses out of it, and we're calling those 3 completely done. The next one I had was the Queen of Spades, which was pick your space. And with pick your space, you have to pick a space within that same suit. So I picked the 4 of Spades, and the 4 of Spades was a mini or a sample, and for that I did bring in my Marc Jacobs lip gloss in the shade To the Moon, and the goal was to get it empty. It was almost empty when I brought it in, and as you guys can see, we have an empty lip gloss. I'm so excited that we have another empty lip gloss in this year, like trailing in at the end of the year. It was so easy to get this used up. I did pull the stopper out of it so that I could get as much out of it as humanly possible. There is still a little bit down there in the bottom, I'm noticing, maybe just for like a single solitary extra use, but honestly this tasted really, really bad. So I'm super happy to get it out of my collection. In addition to that, it was kind of gritty. I don't remember, it's probably gross, but I don't remember this having glitter particles in it last time I used it when I first bought it. But I do think that there are maybe just slight glitter particles in it, because it did feel a little bit more gritty on my lips than I remember it feeling. And when I look at, you know, the contents up close and personal, it does appear that there might be some like little blue glitters in it. So I, at first when I put it on my lips and it felt kind of gritty, I was like, ew, what is that? I was terrified that it was like mold. So I quit using it for a minute, but then like really inspected it, and it does appear to have blue glitters in it, and maybe the formulation changed just slightly enough that I could feel the glitters now versus when I first brought it into my collection. I mean, shoot, Marc Jacobs hasn't been a brand in forever, so there's that. But I also think that maybe I am just more sensitive now to glitters than I was when I first brought this into my collection, let's be honest. So this, the goal was to empty. I did get this emptied. It only took me from, I think it was the 18th or something like that when I recorded this last month, to the 1st of December to get this completely used up. I put it into my car. It was my car gloss. It was my purse gloss. It was my whatever pocket I had gloss, and I just made sure that this was the gloss that I was using until it was gone. So really super happy to have that as an empty. And then the last one was for the 8 of Clubs, and the 8 of Clubs was Spotlight a Panner. And the panner that I chose to spotlight was Erin Taylor, who is phenomenal. And a new to me this year friend on the YouTube space. She is amazing. And if you need a super long video while you are driving down the road just to listen to and feel like you have a friend chatting at you, she's your girl. This is for Erin Taylor, and what I brought in was an Hourglass face palette, because earlier this year she was panning an Hourglass quad. So I brought in the only Hourglass face palette I have, which is the Elephant face palette from a couple Christmases ago. And this is what my palette looks like. And my goal was to use each one of these shades, no pan left behind, but to get 10 uses out of this palette overall. I will tell you, it did not take me long to get the uses on this palette. Like I said, I think I recorded my video on the 18th for last month's update and had the 10 uses out of this palette by the 25th of November, because I just had no problem using this. And ultimately, I ended up using these 2 blushes together often. They are the blushes that are on my face to date. I ended up using this almost every single day as a bronzer, just to glow up whatever like cream bronzer I was using underneath. I used this as a face powder, this as a highlight, and this as a brow bone multiple times. I think the one that took me the longest to get any kind of use out of was this one, because it is just this like peachy color, and it reminded me a lot of the Duchess shade in the eyeshadows that I needed to use, right? They're not far off from each other, just Duchess has a little bit more like white base to it, maybe a little bit more milkiness to it, and the shade from Hourglass just doesn't have that milkiness. And this is a finishing powder called Soft Light, and I just didn't feel like it helped my skin look better, if that makes any sense. So I ended up using it as an inner corner and a brow bone more than I used it as anything else, but I did get no pen left behind on this, and I do think that I probably used this as a whole well over that 10 times use. I would venture to say I don't even have like a tracker on this beyond the 10 times use, but I mean, I used it today and I took it on my work trips with me. It's just a palette that was easy to use. So had no problem with it, loved using it. And with that said, I was able to finish every single product that I had in my project for the month of November to December. So in Deck of Panning. And would be in a place where I would have to completely refresh this month as well if the game played on through the month of December. This is a game that we stop doing in the month of December. Like, this is our finale. We take a month off, and then if Emily brings it back, we will start it up again January 20th, 2025. That said, I like to give you some like little stats on what I was able to accomplish with this game because I think it's fun. I want to know, so why wouldn't you want to know? That is my mindset. So I do have like an Excel sheet on what I do in this game, so I will hopefully be able to get a picture of it in here. It goes over 11 months, so I might not be able to fit the whole game board in here, but with that said, I did complete an update and do a update every single month from the beginning in January to today's date, the finale. And I pulled in 42 items throughout the entirety of the year. And the reason why I'm saying that is, and the reason why I know that to be true, is because I have on here that I hit 42 goals. And I color code every single one of the goals that were hit for the month that I was able to hit them. So I hit 42 goals in this Deck of Panning game. That means the 42 items that I brought into this, I completed all the goals. This included emptied item goals as well. I did have 15 face cards pulled from the 44 cards that I was able to pull total. I got the Joker 0 times. I got the King 5 times, Queen 4 times, Jack 4 times, and Ace 2 times. So the King definitely was my winner face card. It's the one that came up most often. And my prompt that came up most often was favorite color, which came up 3 times. I have a hard time looking at this and going, really? 3 times? I could have swore it was something more like 5 or 6. It felt like way more than 3 times. But also, I didn't pull any prompt more than twice, except for that one, which I thought was outstanding because I think last year I pulled multiple prompts multiple times. I was able to complete the 42 items. In total, I emptied 6 of those items and I pulled 12 hearts, 9 diamonds, 7 clubs, and 16 spades. So obviously spades was the love of my pulls this year. That is what the cards had in store for me this year. So last year, I pulled so many jokers. This year, I pulled none. So I'm kind of afraid for what it's going to look like next year, but I'm so excited for this game next year. So that is it. That is all. Happy Deck of Panning finale. You guys should be seeing a whole lot of Deck of Panning finales coming up in your YouTube feed sometime today, tomorrow, the next day. I know that Steph just posted hers yesterday. I think she's the only one that posted hers yesterday as I'm filming. So that would have been Wednesday, I think, as you're watching. But I have a lot of fun with this game, and I sure hope that Emily brings it back next year. With that said, if you guys are interested in joining next year, please join. This is the funnest game on the internet for the beauty space. And the more that join, the more that love it, the more likely, you know, Emily will continue to bring it back year over year. And I just think it's super fun. That said, I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope that you're having an amazing December. I hope that you're not super stressed. I'm actually kind of stressed. It's my only day off this week. And I am really just needing to do a lot of things today. I need to go Christmas shopping and finish that up because, you know, I mean, it's the 19th of December and I haven't finished. I have barely started, and I have 6 kids and a granddaughter and 2 children-in-laws and like a niece or 2. So, like, I am a glutton for punishment. I have so much to do today, but this was hot on my list because I needed to make sure that I had my Deck of Panning finale going up for you all, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you and yours are well. I hope that you are all safe and healthy and getting along as best that you can. I hope that you are all loving each other, being kind humans, and living your best life. And until next time, bye friends.